Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Innovation Podcast, your source for all things innovation. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Derek Jackson on the line. He's co-founder and CTO over at CyberDive, and he's also host of Let's Sleep on It. Derek, welcome to the show.
Wow, thank you, Adam. Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be on this podcast.
Oh, man. Well, I'm excited. We got a lot to talk about today. You launched some new courses. Definitely love having other podcasters on the old pod, and excited to get into what you're doing on your podcast over at Let's Sleep on It. So really interesting stuff you're doing. But before we get into all that, tell us a little bit more about your company, CyberDive, please.
Yeah, so at CyberDive, I co-founded it. My co-founder's name is Jeff Gottfirst. We realized as parents that in this digital age, kids have such easy access to social media, and they start gaining access to the internet and social media at such a young age. There isn't really anything out there that's easy to use for a parent who maybe isn't as technologically savvy to really be involved with their child as they're learning to use social media in a responsible and safe way. We don't think, the right thing to do is to just cut them off. We don't think that you should say, oh, you can only spend 1 hour a day on social media. Really, we think it's more like when you get your driver's license, you get your learner's permit, your parent helps teach you how to drive, and then you go off into the world on your own. We think that with social media, it should be the same way. So we created a free tool. You, as a parent, you just go to cyberdive.co to sign up. You can connect it to your kids' social media accounts, and then you can see a bunch of things like who they're becoming friends with when they make a new friend, the general vibe of the things that they're interacting with and how they feel about it, and a lot of other cool things, all for free.
Wow, that's amazing, and I love the way you explain that. So it's like you're not just telling your kids you can't drive the car because it's just not realistic. I mean, maybe 10 years ago or something else, there were certain parents that could say, oh, yeah, my kid's never going to be on social media, whatever. They can do that when they leave my house. Now it's such a part of our culture that for them not to, you're basically saying my kid can't have maybe, I won't say friends at school, but my kid can't interact with his friends or her friends the way that all the kids interact. They become very isolated. So with this, now you're monitoring and now you're interacting, now they're learning, now they're teaching. And it sounds to me like it also opens up the context for a broader conversation with the parents.
Yeah, exactly. And we kind of think, whenever a parent tells a child, you can't do this, I feel like for me, growing up, when my parents said that to me, it just made me want to learn about that thing more. I wanted to try it out more. So with social media, it's something that can do so many good things. Kids can stay in touch with people when they move. They can connect with family members. They can learn. They can share ideas, all of this stuff. And that's a great thing. Parents just need to be involved. And so that's why we made this tool in this way.
Let's talk about a little bit more about these courses that you launched recently. Tell us more about that, please.
So I'm putting together some courses for some financial education. I'm a young millennial myself, and I spent 5 years on active duty in the military. And I feel like really effective ideas for how to manage your finances and how to grow your finances is only available for the uber rich. You can get involved with a hedge fund, and then they manage it for you. You're the one that gets access to the most. Or for a normal middle-class person like me, I can get access to a mutual fund where then I'm paying some crazy expenses and I don't really get to see the growth. And there's so many ideas out there for normal people to be able to manage investing themselves in a safe, tax-efficient way. So right now I'm in the production stages for that. And once that's together, I'm really just taking all the knowledge I've put together, reading so many books and learning myself and giving it in an easy, understandable way to other young people like me.
Man, that's exciting. Let's get into this podcast. So let's sleep on it. First off, what was the inspiration for this one?
So Let's Sleep on It is a family podcast. The inspiration was one day my wife and I said, hey, maybe let's just put together a podcast. We've been married almost 6 years. We got married right out of college. and we both went active duty in the Army together. Being dual military spouses, there's some unique challenges that come with that. The first year of our marriage, we spent just as much time apart as together. 6 months we spent in training, living on opposite sides of the country, and then we finally moved in together at the end of the year. And we have a son who's almost 3 years old, and just the experience of being in the military together, having a child, then getting out of the military, getting rid of all that stability and structure and safety of your job and your pay in the military really brings some challenges with it. And we have a unique set of circumstances that we've been through, and we just want to have real conversations. You know, I came from a very religious background, and she did not. So we are willing to have these hard conversations openly between religious and non-religious people about issues that are super controversial today. And we really want to spread a message that we can, even if we have differing opinions, we can sit in the same room and we can have conversations about these issues without becoming polarized and divisive.
Wow, that's I love it. And so what kind of content can the listeners expect? So meaning, is this like, how long are the shows typically? How often are they released? Like, give us a little bit of context there, because I definitely want my audience to go check that out.
Very cool. Thanks, Adam. So right now we have 2 episodes released. They're each about an hour long. We're releasing episodes every 2 weeks. It's a very conversational podcast. We basically just sit down and we have some guests on, other normal people like us, people that we know, that we've grown up with, or that we've met along the way, who come from different backgrounds. And there's some humor and some comedy in the beginning as we're just warming up, but then we really get into the heart of some issues that are happening today. I mean, for example, on the first podcast, we talked about the Tiger King documentary on Netflix. My wife's brother is a gay man, and we talk about the things that happened on the Tiger King show. Coming from a super conservative religious background, you can obviously see where that conversation leads. And for that hour, we just talk about these issues and put it together in a really succinct way.
Man, you guys are going deep, huh?
Very deep. We just dive right in. I like to say I'm the kind of person who is willing to jump out of the airplane and then build my parachute on the way down. So I always make it happen.
Oh, man, I love to hear that. So, Derek, that being said, if somebody's listening to this and they want to follow up to learn more about CyberDive or your courses or your course, or also the podcast, I mean, what's the best way for the listeners to follow up?
Yeah, so the best way to follow up for CyberDive is just go to our website, www.cyberdive.co. You can find out more information there. And if you want to try it out, it's free. So just click on the button to sign up. It's super easy. Let's Sleep On It is available anywhere that you get your podcasts. So if you have an iPhone, just search on Apple Podcasts, Let's Sleep On It, and we'll be the first one to pop up.
Fantastic. Well, Derek, it's been great having you on the show today. Great connecting and learning more about what you're doing over at CyberDive, and love to hear about the family podcast. I haven't met a lot of podcasters, but I haven't met a lot of family podcasts on a husband and wife team. So I think it's awesome what you and your wife Kelly are doing, and I wish you best and most luck with your podcast. And to my audience, definitely go check that out. There's going to be some really interesting content produced there. And Derek, thanks again for coming on the show.